My name is Gary. I'm a transplant from Texas. I actually live down in North Hollywood now. I drove up yesterday. California, Texan living in California now, so I'm glad to be here. Really glad to be back with you. I see that. Are you a Texan too? No. No. That was a very direct no. The dawn is breaking within you. Can you feel the promise of the morn? Your soul is waking to this moment. A new day waiting to be born. We are one in the devotion, naked in the truth for all time. We are moved by the emotion. We are one with the divine. We are a portal to awakening. We are living in God's love. Feels like our hearts are finally opening. Forgiveness rains down like a flood. We are one in the devotion, naked in the truth for all time. We are moved by the emotion. We are one with the divine. Standing in the light, arms held open wide, emerging from a night of fear all set aside. No day quite as bright, no place left to hide. Everything is right, and here we will abide. We are one in the devotion, naked in the truth for all time. We are moved by the emotion. We are one with the divine. We are drenched in the devotion, naked in the truth for all time. We are moved by the emotion. We are one with the divine. We are one with the divine. We are one with the divine.
Good morning. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living San Jose, where we are transforming lives, building dreams, and revealing love, where all that we ask is that you stay open to the possibility of changing your entire life by changing your mind. Welcome home. My name is Debbie Belmesseri. I'm a licensed practitioner, and this is Doris Hoffman, our practitioner of the day. We're happy to welcome you to our spiritual home. This month, we've been exploring the topic of giving. We have many opportunities for your personal growth and expansion here at the center. You can find out all about our events and classes by looking on our website, checking your bulletin, or you can go out into Fellowship Hall and peruse the information walls after service. We'd like to say a special welcome now to those of you who are here for the first time. Thank you for visiting. You matter to us. We invite you to go out to our concierge table after service and pick up a welcome packet and sign our guest book. The welcome packet includes a gift for you, and there will be a concierge team member available to answer any questions you may have about who we are and what we do here at the center. Today's flowers are in honor of the ribbon cutting for our beautiful new sacred garden. Yeah. So let's take a moment now to celebrate being in community with each other. Please turn to someone and greet them.
Thank you.
Each week, we dedicate a few moments of our service to sit in silence together. In order to ensure a sacred atmosphere, we ask that you please turn your cell phones off at this time. Our wonderful musician, Gary, will now lead us in a chant that will take us into our 2 minutes of silence.
Please sing with me if you know this one.
So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love. I will share, 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 I will share this love. So sacred, so secret, so precious, this love, this love, this love.
Let us pray. As Gary told us, we are one with the divine. And as we heard that, we allowed it to sink into our hearts. For we know always and forever that we can never be separated from the One. For the One is always in, through, and as us. And we see constant manifestations of the divine. We see us coming together as a community. We see it in our sacred space garden and feel the joy that emerges from that coming together, from that connection. And as we move forward, we only need come back to that moment when we said, yes, yes, I am one with the divine. And I go forward in joy and in love and in givingness and thriving. And as I thrive, I look for opportunities to thrive even more. For I and each of you are one with the divine. I give great gratitude and great appreciation, and I'm filled with thanksgiving, with the knowingness of my oneness and my connection. And in that space, I just simply release it to the perfect right action of the law, and I anchor it with, and so it is. And now if you would read with me the affirmation. Divine abundance is forever manifesting itself in my affairs. I desire to do only that which is good and constructive, life-giving and life-expressing. Therefore, I know that I shall prosper in everything I do. I know that I exist in limitless possibility. This I expect, and this I accept.
This is the start of something new. I think it's coming into view. Don't ask me how, but I can see clearly now. Leaving my footprints in the sand, too soon to tell where I may land. Now I've a why I can bear anyhow. I can hear it. Destiny is calling me to give in to the rhythm. Let it carry me away. Dance with the audacity. Find triumph in the tragedy. On my quest for answers, I won't rest until I say, now that hope is intervening, there is music in the meaning. Maybe you think there's nothing more, like you have seen it all before. You've lost the thrill. What happened to your will? Whether it's something to achieve or just somebody to believe in, all you need's a little respite from the suffering. Can you hear it? Destiny is calling you to give in to the rhythm. Let it carry you away. Dance with the audacity. audacity, find triumph in the tragedy. On this quest for answers, do not rest until you say, now that hope is intervening, there is music in the meaning. Now that hope is intervening, there is music in the meaning. Give in to the rhythm, let it carry me away. Dance with the audacity, find triumph in the tragedy. On this quest for answers, I won't rest until I say, now that hope is intervening, there is music in the meaning. There is music in the meaning. There is music in the meaning.
Good morning, CSL. Thank you. My name is Mark Eisenhardt. I am and my family have been members of your community for now over a decade. And I have a great story to share with you. Thank you. I have a great story to share, but this is, as an attorney, I would be remiss not to tell you there's a warning. We had 2 injuries in the first service because it was so exciting, this story. They were on the edge of their seat and then they fell forward. So strap yourself in. I think it's a great story. Year after year after year, and I'm speaking for myself, I'm going to get a little vulnerable here first, if I may. And that is, we would tithe, we would give, sometimes with just a Sunday by Sunday intention or a monthly intention or even an annual intention. And year after year, maybe in my mind, I would sort of stretch the rubber band just a little bit. Maybe I'll give another $50 or another, even a couple of $100 and stretch the rubber band. But the truth be told, as much as I know that it was good for the center and that it might even be good for others, for me, there was this nagging feeling like that's how much less money I have in my pocket. That's not a good feeling. As much as it was a good feeling to help the center and to help the community, there was that lagging, nagging feeling. And we talked about it, my wife and I, and last year we said, let's take that rubber band. In my mind, I said, let's take that rubber band. I don't want to stretch it anymore because it's just going to break, and then I'm going to break. Part of me will feel like I broke. And I threw it out mentally. No more rubber band. And we made an intention to be, have a different space, that something amazing is going to happen. And so when we made our intention, and we in fact tithed over the last year, we increased it not just by a couple hundred or even 2 times, we moved the decimal over, really. That's what we did. And then we watched what happened. And I want to share with you just a couple of the many, many, many transformational things that have occurred in our lives over the last year since we did that. One of the things is that being self-employed, you could imagine that maybe your income might fluctuate year after year because it's not a steady paycheck. But the truth is, I tend to do about the same every year, about the same. If my income would go up maybe 10%, you would say I've made 110% of what I made the last year, right? Over the last year, I'm happy to share that the prosperity came in and we did 225% more than every year before. Wild. It's just wild. You start to see things. You start to experience things. My relationships, friendships. I got involved in a networking group. But what I loved about this is that their philosophy was ours. They weren't about how do you individually get leads, how do you get referrals. No, it's how do you give leads to other people? How do you give referrals to other people? It's the law. And I said to everybody, I said, they call it giver's gain. And I said, that's the law of circulation. And it's beautiful. So business now becomes even more of a spiritual enterprise for me. So those are just some of the things I wanted to share. And overarching all of that was travel. The travel that has occurred over the last year has been so transformative. And I don't mean getting in a plane. I mean, go right now if you could and pull out a bill. Would you mind? And if you don't have one or your neighbor doesn't have one, just pull out any bill, $1, a $5, or a $20. No, it's got to be a bill. If you don't have one, borrow one, maybe give it back from your neighbor. This is something I just realized, and it's very wonderful. In fact, I did travel recently with my wife, and when we're up there in the sky at 40,000 feet, you can see all the other contrails in the sky. You know what that is, right? Those little white, dreamy-like strings in the sky. If you look at your bill, I'm going to come back to contrails in a minute. Look at the shape of it. It's not a triangle, and it's not a circle, and it's not an 8.5 by 11 that you have to fold and somehow get into your wallet. What is that shape? What do we see every day when we see this shape? It's a ticket. It's a ticket. When you send this out, what I have found, when I send it out, contrails are attached to it. And my wife and I grabbed a hold of those, and we went for a ride for the last year that was amazing. And I can only say and wish with all my heart that all of you, when you do your giving in any way that you do, grab onto the contrails and let's see where it takes you. Thank you so very much.
Good morning, San Jose. This really is the best day ever. It was very exciting to cut the ribbon on our new Sacred Space Garden, which is now completely and absolutely open for business. In addition to those of you in the room, I want to welcome those of you who are watching online, who are live streaming. Welcome. It's good to have you joining us today, and it's good to be joining you. Last night was the best night ever before today, because last night I was at the San Jose Civic Theater, Civic Auditorium. Which is it, Civic Theater or Civic Auditorium? Do you guys know about this facility? It's become my favorite venue for concerts. It's like a roller skating rink that they put chairs in the middle of, and it's fantastic. I've been there 2 times in the last 2 weeks. Last week we were there on Friday night for Ana Gabriel, and last week we were there for Ana Gabriel, and last night we were there for Pandora. For those of you who don't know who Pandora are 3 women from Mexico who have been a trio since the 80s. They're kind of like, to me, they're Mexican ABBA. They're Mexican ABBA, without the 2 males. They're Mexican ABBA, and they are stunning. They're just amazing, and it was great to be in this auditorium, which were filled with people who have been following them since the 80s. So the room was filled with middle-aged Latino women and gay men. Yeah. So there were all these Latinos and Latinas and me. And it was amazing because they have made a connection with their audience unlike anything I've ever seen. Honestly, I've never seen anything like it. They were actually encouraging folks to take pictures. When people were holding up their cameras, they would model for them, and they would wave to them, and they would blow kisses, and when somebody would be speaking to them, they would stop to listen to what was going on, and it made the security staff crazy. But it was beautiful to observe how there was they were just present. And I was thinking about a world in which I want to live. I want to live in a world that's filled with people like that, where people are completely just present. I was listening to a talk show radio, wow. I wish you could have gone on that trip I was just on. It was like being high without the hangover or the come down. You know, like, help, I've just tripped and I can't get up. I can't come down. Hell, if I tripped and I can't come down. I was listening to this talk show this week, and this talk show woman was sharing with the audience why it is that so many people fall in love with their therapists. Because their therapists really listen. They're just present. They're actually present. And when you're in the presence of someone who's present with you, you're alive. And how often do I not provide that for people? I don't even want to think about that. I'm more interested in how will I practice that. No, so here's how it showed up in the concert. So when one of the three were singing her solo, she would sit down on the monitor like this. And while she was singing this intimate song, somebody from the audience would run up and stand right at her feet and pose for someone else who was taking their picture while all this... I'm not making this up. Mauricio, show me how this is done. Come on. So she was just singing her song, and people were totally doing this, and I'm not making this up. It was stunning. For those of you who don't know who Pandora are, download them on iTunes. Really, it's worth it. It's beautiful. What I was watching was a paradigm. Those three women have a paradigm. And the paradigm is they're present. And they're just awesome. While I was there, I was thinking about paradigms. While I was actually in that concert, I was thinking how moved I was by them, but I was also thinking about Hostess Twinkies. I was thinking about Hostess Twinkies, not because I'm on day 9 of a 20-day cleanse. No, that's not it at all. I swear. I was thinking about Hostess Twinkies because I was thinking how I can have a Hostess Twinkie and that might be an event, or I can have a Hostess Twinkie because it's part of my paradigm. I was thinking about how I might have, a person might have a cigarette with their friends because that's just they're having a cigarette, or a person may have cigarettes because that's their paradigm. How someone may have a cocktail on Friday night with their friends, or someone has cocktails because that's their paradigm. And they're not the same. The difference between an event and a paradigm are not the same. Conversely, us having a spiritual experience as an event on a Sunday is lovely. But I want to have that as a paradigm. I want to have my spiritual experience on Sunday actually show up when I need it. You know, when you need it. When you get a phone call from your boss that's not very pleasant, or when you're getting on the freeway and traffic is stopped, or when your bank ATM card is chewed up in the ATM and they tell you no, or when you find out your kid's on drugs, or when you find a spot on your skin. I want my spirituality to be part of my paradigm, not just an event. The description there became clear to me. The difference between paradigm and event was really in my face on Friday when Mauricio and I rented a. By the way, that was another Mauricio. There's 2 Mauricios here. I mean, what are the odds of that happening? Most times people say, "What's your name?" He says, "Mauricio." They say, "What? Mauricio. What? What? Mauricio. What?" And I say, "Mauricio." They go, "Oh, Mauricio." Wow, I didn't have to tell you that. I don't know why I did, but yeah, because I wanted to be present with you. I just wanted to be like straight up. So Mao and I went to Redbox and we rented a movie on Friday, and the movie was the Place Beyond the Pines. The Place Beyond the Pines, and it's a film starring Ryan Gosling and Bradley Cooper and a few other superstars. And what happens in this film is there's 2 teenagers who are busted for purchasing drugs, and they get caught with an amount of drugs that moves it from a misdemeanor to a felony. And the film fast forwards to them at their arraignment. Now, the father of one of these teenagers is running for attorney general, so he has a little bit of pull. So the other one, though, is not. The other one does not have a father who's running for attorney general. But what we find out at this arraignment is the judge says the charges have been moved from being a felony, which was they were facing a minimum of 5 years to a maximum of 15 years. This is a very tense moment. And we, the audience, are watching what happens when the judge says to the kid and to the parents of the kid, this is now declared a misdemeanor and you're let off with time served. And as the audience were watching this, we're thinking, they are so blessed. Those kids are so fortunate. The very next day, the kid who was released jumps over the counter at a pharmacy and steals a big bottle of OxyContin to take to a party. And I, the audience, am thinking, are you stupid? Are you crazy? You just had like a get out of jail free card yesterday. What are you doing? And then Mauricio leans over to me and says, David, that's because for him it's a paradigm, not an event. Him being let off was an event. Wow. Mal will tell you about that later. We'll tell you about that over coffee. While I have the microphone, I want to let you know that we have a new coffee machine. Seriously, it's important to know these things. Debbie Belmesseri, the woman who did the welcome earlier, Debbie Belmesseri has a company that has a latte machine, and she has organic milk in there, and she has real organic coffee in there. It's not the corn syrup or the high fructose stuff. It's real stuff, and it's $1 a cup. So if you want to try that out, we now have lattes. So now that's going to be a new paradigm. So our topic today is when to stop giving, and that's tied into our monthly theme, this being the last Sunday of the month. This is the fourth and last Sunday of October. This is the last Sunday that we are talking about this theme, giving. Today's topic is when to stop giving, because some people really want to know. If I give and give and give, when do I stop? You know, will I be bled dry? When do I stop? Last week, I gave you my straight-up conversation about giving. Today I want to do a recap because there's lots of new folks in here, but I also want to do a recap because we're closing out this dialogue and we won't have it again till next October. The reason why we give is not because you get any special ticket into heaven, or the reason why you give is not because you're going to gain any special favor to a God that may or may not be upset with you, or God may or may not love you exactly as you are, or God that is probably making a list and checking it twice and sounding a lot like Santa Claus, because some days it really loves you and some days it's damning you to hell. The reason why we give is not to appease the capricious God that we know doesn't exist. The reason why we give is because it's our nature. See, there's paradigms to giving, and you may or may not know this, but there's at least 4 paradigms to giving. One of them is you don't. You avoid it at all cost. You hold tight. You clench onto what you have. And this is the way you move through the world. Now, take a look at this. How can this person receive? It's hard to receive when you're in this physical posture. So the first paradigm is you don't give. The second paradigm that exists is you give, but you give as little as possible, and you don't give with joy. You give out of a sense of duty or a sense of obligation, or you've been guilted into it. A third paradigm to giving is you give to get. It's a business arrangement, like a farmer planting his seeds. That which I put out, I will get back. I'm going to give because it's returned to me multiplied abundantly. It's a business arrangement. The fourth paradigm is the one I'm really interested in. I give because it's my nature. Someone says, can you help me? I say yes. Someone says, can I share that? I say yes. Someone says, can I borrow that? I say yes. I give because it's my nature. That's the paradigm I'm really interested in. And I know I can't get to a paradigm through an event unless I keep repeating events over and over and over and over. And through creating events such, it's created such a habit that what were a series of events are now linked together into what's called a paradigm. I didn't learn to tie my shoes the first time I tried. Did any of you? It took us a few times. We tried it and tried it and tried it, and then one day we just sort of did it. And I wondered, can we really explain to someone how we tie our shoes? Could you actually walk someone through tying their shoes on the telephone? It might require a little bit of effort, or you could just do it naturally. How we get there is through doing something over and over such that it becomes natural to us. There's a lot of superstitions around giving too. In fact, giving is the big taboo. Giving is the big taboo. The taboo against knowing who you are. It's about money. Big taboos around money. There's not enough of it. Everyone's out to get it. Got to hang on to what I got, because if I don't know, something bad's going to happen. Can't trust anybody. Someone's going to steal my identity. I can't afford my bills. I'm going to be homeless. I'm going to be without a house or a home, or can't pay for my kids' tuition, or I can't pay for my chemotherapy treatments. There's a lot of fear around money. And people dream and wish and hope, and they have angst about wanting to transform this fear. But the only way I've ever transformed anything is by transforming, by consciously applying its remedy over and over and over and over. That's the only way I ever got anything. It's the only way I ever really got it. How do I have a successful relationship now? Because I have a whole bunch of really bad ones. I made mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake after mistake. Thank God I've done my best to clean up as much of that past as possible. But I have a commitment now to acting and behaving and operating in a particular way. And when I do it, I get results. So what we're talking about is being regular and structured with something. I'm not learning Spanish when I just practice it whenever I feel like it. But when I immerse myself in it, I get involved and involved and involved and involved. It becomes part of me. I've watched musicians over and over again because I'm just stunned that they can sit there and cause music when I sit there and I could just cause noise. But I have noticed that they have made a commitment to something, and they have practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced till it becomes what we say, wow, you're so talented. They're skilled. But that skill took practice. And I notice I'm not going to create anything. I'm not going to create consciousness when I participated in it haphazardly. So the reason why I give in a regular, structured, conscious way is so I get into the pattern and rhythm of circulation. It's that easy. Any other taboos? I didn't put any taboos on there. If you're hearing taboos, you may be applying those yourself. I'm not doing it. So what's happening today is an opportunity for us to really explore, when do I stop giving? There's only one answer. There's only one answer. Never. Ever, ever, ever. This applies to giving forgiveness, or giving attention, or giving affection, or giving touching or hugging appropriately with the appropriate people in the appropriate age ranges. Never, never stop giving, ever, ever, ever. And sometimes when people have a disappointment, it causes bitterness to set in, and then they close off, and then they say, well, I'm never going to do that again. And then they sort of become an island. And what this has to do with God, by the way, it has everything to do with God. Because Big Daddy in the sky, as we have been taught, does not exist. But the energy of the thing itself is really relevant in Christianity and Buddhism and Taoism and Hinduism and Judaism and in all faiths and in all paths to God. This spirituality exists as practical application. If you want an experience of holiness, apply it today in the way that you're dealing with the Trader Joe's checker, or the way you're dealing with the person who's going to be sharing a cup of coffee with you, standing in line for that new latte machine, or when you are writing out your check to your landlord, or whether you're preparing for your deposition tomorrow, or whether you're crying yourself to sleep because you just lost a loved one. That's how you apply your spirituality. And it applies to money too. When do I stop giving? Never. If you ever want to end a relationship, by the way, if you're looking for the magic to end one, I've got it for you. Here's the surefire way to end a relationship. Withhold. If you want to end a relationship, withhold. Eventually the relationship will end. Because withholding causes suffering and deprivation and decay and rot, and things just die. If you want to be in the presence of flourishing and nurturing, then be generous with your time and your attention. Speak to people straight up. Be like those ladies in Pandora. Just be present with people. One of the things I love about this community, we're really invested in you living life powerfully. we're interested in creating an environment wherein you can thrive. We want you to thrive. Because then when you thrive, the people you impact thrive. How I'm going to cause peace in the world is by creating peace in the center. How I will create peace in this world is by being peaceful in my interactions with you. And then you will interact with others, and they will interact with others, and like a Clairol commercial, and so on, and so on, and so on. That's how peace happens. It doesn't happen when my government passes a law or when someone does another treaty. It happens when I refrain from lashing out, and it happens when I give with reckless abandon. Now, like Mark mentioned, maybe there's times that giving would cause your family to be in deprivation. Then don't do that. But circulate something. So when we get involved in regular, structured, conscious giving, some people think it has to be the amount. For me, it's not the amount. It's regularity. It's like when I go on vacation, if I'm giving a quarter every week, I'm going to mail in that quarter because I want to stay in the habit and the rhythm. It's like flossing. Flossing can be tedious, and flossing can be like, oh, I keep forgetting. But if you do it over and over and over, after maybe a week or 2 weeks, 3 weeks max, you can't live without it. That's just what happens. It becomes part of what you do. So if you want to be involved in circulation, both receiving and giving, then start and be regular and structured with it. So for those of you who are guests here today, I want to warn you. Right now we're about to do something that may look a little odd and you won't expect it in a New Thought community. We're about to do something called an altar call. So if you're a guest, I want to set this up for you and give you a little context. If you're a guest, there's no pressure for you to participate. In fact, I'm not asking you to. But as a guest, I'm asking you to observe this like you would observe a wedding. If you're a guest at a wedding, your job is to bear witness to someone who's expressing an outer expression of an inner conviction, where they're taking a stand publicly for something. And your job as a witness is to hold the space for possibility for them. Now, a few years ago, I tried to throw this out. I tried to get rid of the altar call, but there was such a backlash, I could hardly believe it. People said, David, we have very few ceremonies here, other than the altar call and Groundhog Day. We don't have any ceremonies or high holy days. So don't take this away from us. So what we're about to do is our annual altar call. It's an opportunity for those of you who want to give us your giving intention plan to come up here and bring it to me. For those of you who don't know what a giving intention plan is, let me tell you briefly what it is. Very simply, it's that form that was given to you by the ushers when you came in, and it's an opportunity for you to fill it out and to let us know roughly your idea of what we can expect that you'll be able to give next year. And the reason why we do this is so that we can simply write our budget. That way the finance team and the stewardship corps can write a budget and create programs based upon what they think we're going to get. Now, Debbie Slayton, are you here, Debbie? Well, she was here in the last service. She wanted me to clarify with all of you that if you pledge $20 and at the end of the year you're only able to give $19, you will not go to hell. She wanted me to clarify with you too that we're not going to come after you and we're not going to send you a bill. We're not going to hunt you down and we're not going to give you the evil eye. We're not even going to mention it to you because the purpose of your giving intention plan is just to let us know what your intention is. Now, what I'm suggesting for you is if you take this on, that you do so in such a way and structure it such that you'll participate every week, even if you're not here. So if you're going to give $1 a week, then put down $52 for the year, and if you're not here, mail in $1 a week. That's pretty easy and pretty simple. And then we get involved in regular structured conscious giving, thereby moving our giving from being an event to being a paradigm. And when it's a paradigm, it's just the way you move through the world. And then generosity follows you no matter where you go. I don't have anything else to say. What? Oh, yes. If When you give us your giving intention plan, by the way, your giving intention form, you will get a ticket for the cabaret. And this Friday is the cabaret. Now I got to tell you, this cabaret totally rocks. I can hardly wait to look forward to get to it. I mean, I'm skipping over my own words because Reverend Susan Overland and Liza Mayer, two of the most twisted, troubled women I have ever met. They have rewritten songs from, songs that you're familiar with, Broadway and movie tunes, and they've rewritten them specifically for 1195 Clark Street and those who love us. One of them, for example, is, "What is it like to work with David Bruner?" And November 1st is also my birthday. I'll be 48 years old on that night. And come here and I want you to come here and eat cake while I have a Fuji apple. So, now is an opportunity for you to come forward if you'd like to give us your giving intention form and also get your ticket to the cabaret. If you choose not to turn in a giving intention form, you are just as loved and respected and adored as anyone who does not. Did you guys get that? They did. Did anybody else get that? Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I am so blessed.
I love it.
I am so blessed.
If you've already turned one in, you can turn in another one. Just write duplicate or Megan will double charge you.
So blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful, I am so blessed, I am so blessed, I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. So blessed, I am so blessed, I am so grateful for all that I so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
So this is 2014. Thank you very much. The ushers are going to come forward and help us with the sharing of our gifts and tithes and offerings as we typically close out the service. Before we do, I just want to acknowledge that there will be a group wedding today at 2 o'clock, of which everyone is invited. Ironically, all three couples are in this room. If you're getting married today here at 2 o'clock, would you stand? Please, you guys, please say with me our giving affirmation. I am I am determined to fulfill my highest vision of serving others. Giving opens the way for greater blessings to come into my life.
I'd like you to sing this song with me. Don't feel like you have to stand up. You can stand up in your heart, even though it says stand up. It goes like this.
Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Sing that again, here we go. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you. Let us be reminded, let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, hey, yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Now this is a little different. It goes, let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Here we stand on holy ground. Let us make a joyful sound. Hey, 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 hey. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Everybody get up on your feet. See the light in everybody you meet. Let us be reminded of who we've come to be. We are love, we are one. One big family. Hey, 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 yeah. Hey, 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 yeah, yeah. Hey, 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 yeah. Ow!
Thank you.
Gary, thank you so much. Gary has music CDs available if you would like to take his amazing voice home with you. And I really want to give him an extra thank you because he has agreed to stay and play a very special song for the wedding couples at 2 o'clock. When you came in today, I hope you all received your 31 Days of Prosperity prayers. This is a gift of affirmative prayer treatments for you from your practitioner core here at the center. And there's one for every day. It'll change your life. So, David already told you, Cabaret, Friday night, 8 o'clock. 10 of the most talented people in this community, along with Billy Liberatore on piano. You don't want to miss it. They have been working ceaselessly and tirelessly, and I love every one of them. Ribbon cut. Oh, well, we did the ribbon cutting. Sorry. Oh, that happened. Been there, done that. Yeah, that happened. The wedding is at 2. Hope you can stay or come back, grab lunch and come back. At 12:30, right here in the sanctuary, our Visioning Corps will be hosting part of a visioning series. You're welcome to come. Actually, it's not in here. It's in the Emerson room. Yeah, up in the conference room upstairs. So that would be great if you could join us. And then tonight we have our evening service at 6 p.m. facilitated by Megan Dake Morrell, Ministerial School Senior. And Practice Makes Permanent. This Wednesday is the last series at 7 o'clock. Kevin Swanson will be facilitating that for me as I will be in Seattle. The topic is So I Prayed, Now What? And then on Thursday at 7 p.m., Reverend Darlene will have her Aware series from 7 to 8. On Thursday night, also, 6 o'clock, Trunk or Treat. It's such a fun night. You can come in costume or just come as you are. Be in clothing, and because it's for kids. And it's for kids. So remember that when you're picking out your costume. And you can go to the parking lot, pull into the parking lot, pop your trunk, and if you want, you can decorate your trunk and have candy in there. And then the kids go from car to car to car, and they say trunk or treat, and you give them goodies, and then their parents can have peace of mind, right? Because it's their beautiful community that's trick-or-treating with them. SEVA. I have a quick thing about SEVA. We have a very special weekend coming up on November 9th and 10th for all of our volunteers here. If you have ever volunteered this year, if you want to volunteer and you're not sure where, we're having a beautiful workshop on November 9th. It's free. It's an opportunity for you to come and be in spiritual community and spiritual practice and talk about selfless service and turn that into a spiritual practice, which you know it already is. And that's on the 9th, and then on the 10th is Volunteer Appreciation Sunday. So we have a few surprises planned for that day as well. And then November 15th, just a heads up, Dave DeLulo is doing one of his amazing drum circles. If you've never been to one, or if you have, you know how awesome it is. And he has tickets available in Fellowship Hall. If you would like information on the part-time job opening that we recently posted for a new youth and family coordinator, please contact me and I'd be happy to share that information with you. And outreach, today is the last day for our Warm Outreach Project, where we have been collecting outer garments, gently used or new. I was going to say gently used or new, and socks. New on the socks, for those who are less fortunate than us, right? We can help keep them warm this summer. And I think that's all I have. If there's something, winter. Some people like to be warm in the summer.
You guys know what happens when you don't take your medication, don't you? Yeah.
Paybacks.
If you are a licensed practitioner and you'll be praying with folks under the windows, would you please stand now and start moving towards the windows? What those folks are up to, by the way, is making space for you. If there's something going on in your life for which you would like prayer, you'd like to have it transformed through prayer, see these people. It's free, it's confidential, it's quick, and they will set into motion a new cause for you. Take advantage of that. I wanted to let you know about the wall that's outside. It's called the, did I tell you about the, no, Before I Die Project. So in New Orleans, a woman took one of the houses that was abandoned, and she wanted to bring some vitality back to the community. So she painted one of these houses with that blackboard paint. And then she stenciled, "Before I die, I want to blank. Before I die, I want to blank. Before I die, I want to blank." And then she put cups of chalk on the walls, so that the walls are now filled with things like, "Before I die, I want to be tried for piracy. Before I die, I want to have children," etc. Well, we now have our own little wall here, thanks to Debbie Slayton and her friends. So check it out. It's towards the back parking lot. You can add to it or just admire it. And we will be cleaning it regularly, wiping it off so that it can start all over again. Is there anything that I've missed? No? Please stand and take the hand of the person on your right and on your left. And join me in a benediction. Won't you know with me that you and I are never alone? That Source is where we are right now and always, and the only thing that we will ever need to do is look inside. Because it's there we will find that we are guided and sustained and directed and inspired by this Source that knows only good. And joyously let us make use of these gifts in all that we think, in all that we say, and in all that we do. And so it is. As is our custom, please repeat after me. Something wonderful is happening as me right now. It's this thing called life. Life is in my mind. Life is in my body. Life is in my relationships. Life is in my finances. Life is in my relationships. Life is in our meditation garden. I see it. I think it. I feel it, I believe it, I accept it, I express it, just the way that it is, and just the way that it is not. Thank you, life.